Dear listeners, you are welcome to the studio of Luminous Radio Gboko. The time in the studio here is 12:57 p.m. I am here with my colleague, Reverend Father Stephen Awua. Father Steve, you are welcome. Please say hello to our listeners out there.
Hi, listeners. Good afternoon.
Right, Father Steve, maybe you should tell us in very short words about Luminous Radio so that our listeners would understand what Luminous Radio is poised to do in the evangelical or the pastoral life of the Catholic Diocese of Gboko.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Luminous Radio is the brainchild of His Excellency, Most Reverend William Avenia. He, according to him, he has conceived this idea long ago, but then coming to actualization, this dream came to fruition in 2020 when a temporary app was introduced, rather was launched, developed and launched to test run the operation of this Luminous Radio station. Eventually, he selected a number of priests to go down to Ibadan to understudy radio broadcasting and then come back so that they will man the affairs of Luminous Radio Gboko. And since then, since last year, yourself and my humble self have been on this team alongside our kid sister Winifred Anja, who have been working round the clock in conjunction with our able Director of Communications, Father Emmanuel Igbasi, to see that this dream of our father, His Excellency Bishop William Avenia, sees the light of the day and is kept running to propagate the faith, to teach and to catechize the Christian faithful worldwide, not just in Nigeria, because as an internet radio, it goes way beyond the shores of Benue State and Nigeria.
Thank you, Father Steve. Dear listeners, you want to understand that the first live broadcast of this radio was on the 25th of September,
right.
2020,
Yes.
when the radio hosted Father Linus Wabo, the Episcopal Vicar, and Father Isaac Dugu
yeah.
of the Catholic Secretariat in Abuja. And since then, there has been tremendous improvement and growth in this sector of communication in the Catholic Diocese of Gboko. Right this moment, we are here with our technical advisor, who is a professional, Enoch Jabi, TFR Enoch Jabi, and he is here to help us improve on the audio and visual transmission so that our listeners are able to follow what is happening visually, and they are also able to read on the bar, the strobe, the info bar, what precisely happens here. So, Father Steve, we have undergone several trainings, bringing in experts from Kano, experts from Lagos, to help us work on this. So you are in, but on behalf of listeners out there, has there been any remarkable improvement in this radio business?
I must tell you, if there is anything improvement, is just for want of better description. This is more than improvement. There is thunderous improvement in this regard, because we are reading the signs of time and interpreting appropriately how we could up our game to meet the target audience, the target listeners, and all of this thing. I think it is in the wake of this that we have today our able technician has launched where we're test running how we can combine at the same time visuals and audios at the same time, and then how we can hook all of these on the diverse platforms that are there, where most of these young kids are there, and then with that, with the easy access they have with the internet, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on and all those social media platforms, we're able to get them there. And so it is a marvelous improvement, I must say. This is way out of the way kind of improvement.
My God, you are gifted for choice of words, and I tell you that on a casual note, but I also want to tell you that on a serious note, that you are gifted when it comes to the business of words. In recent time, dear listeners, Bishop William Amove Avenya, the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Gboko, and the Apostolic Administrator, Sede Vacante for the Catholic Diocese of Katsina Allah, has done a lot in the spiritual and physical growth of the diocese. And this radio is here to bring you to speed to the various developments in the diocese. Can you tell us of the recent events at River Buruku and what happened, Father Steve?
Yeah, just 2 weeks ago, precisely, the bishop held a capacity building workshop for the guys who are in the business of paddling canoes to cross, using that to ease transportation across River Buruku. We thought that was just the end of it. It was the shocking moment of that. Part of that capacity building workshop was when the bishop graciously unveiled a brand new boat to aid and assist in crossing of people and of course goods at that. Just last week, we were there to witness the official commissioning and test driving, as it were, of this canoe. And I must tell you, it was built. It was. The people were wowed by this gesture of His Excellency Reverend William Avenya, who has intervened very powerfully to saying that the crossing at River Buruku is made easier. Rather than just using the canoes that are made from wood, we can improve on what is there. And he showed the way by doing that. I think I must say it was like a challenge to the government and other private.
But he wouldn't see it that way. And in fact, he said that he wasn't doing this to challenge anybody. He just saw a gap that needed to be filled. Oh, and the church, in his usual common cliche, he would say that the church needs to be present in the university of life. So for him, it was an aspect of the visibility of the church in the public university of life. So he wouldn't want that term used as a challenge, just to chip in this dimension of it.
But I must admit to you that anyhow you put it, the public out there, there must be some comparison made.
Sure, that's
the
right.
The guys who were beneficiaries of this, you overheard them say, they have never witnessed this before. It's a
and some had never seen such a board in their lives.
Yes.
Ever.
So for him, it's not a point of challenging anybody. But to the beneficiaries and all of these things, they are seeing this and comparing with what the church can do and what the political society can do.
In fact, the song on their lips that day was Bishop Avenya in your to change it. Bishop Avenya in your to change it. And that is wonderful.
Yes, that was beautiful. I must tell you that, and then not just that. Cast your mind back. Chief Emmanuel Akumetango Stadium was in shambles. I can't tell what happened to the stadium, but the roof of the stadium broke.
The well was completely blocked.
Yeah, broken down, and then this man intervened very powerfully.
What do you mean by this man? The bishop?
The bishop.
Oh, right.
The Holy Man of Gboko, he calls himself casually. The Holy Man of Gboko re-roofed the stadium, sank a borehole.
Rebuilt a fallen wall.
Yes, rebuilt the fallen wall. What do you call it? Maintain the pitch, and you can go there now. It is of international standard. It is level, and trainings and football events are taking place there in good shape now.
And the chairman of Katsina Allah local government, on the occasion of the ordination of 11 priests at the stadium, said this openly that he had never seen this before. And for him, it was something remarkable, something unprecedented, and something legendary.
Indeed.
Now, that is about the recent developments. There are upcoming events. There are so many that we are going to discuss in the course of time. But there are two upcoming events that this radio is going to host. Can you just highlight those two very big events?
Yeah, in a very short while, within this month, we have two serious events that are taking place. One is the health sector of the diocese has packaged a program where departments by departments, they have invited this radio station to invade and cover, so that the world will get to know how the bishop has invested heavily in the health sector, so that he will leave a mark on the health of his flock. So sector by sector, department by department, the health coordinator, Father Michael Gboko, has arranged, perhaps by next week or so, we shall advertise duly how different sectors of the hospital, different departments of the hospital, we shall go to cover what happens so that we air it live. Thanks be to God. Now it is no longer just issue of visuals, rather audios. We can as well transmit visuals to you in the same way and manner at the same time that is happening. So, and then secondly, towards the end of the month.
Let me bring you back a bit.
Okay.
Talking about the St. John Hospital, Gboko, 2 weeks ago, the chief medical director of that hospital was here in our studio with Father Michael Gboko, the health coordinator for Gboko Diocese, and he was able to give a pep talk on common ailments. Was that useful?
I think it was, because some of the common, some of the discussions that took place on that day, he had talked about common diseases like ulcer, he had talked about obesity, or he talked about diabetes, he talked about high blood pressure, and all of those. These are some of the things that are affecting us today. Just a couple of days back, I heard that a parishioner from St. James, who had gone to somewhere, simply collapsed and died. It is believed that death is traceable to cardiac arrest. So I think I must admit that discussion really helped, or rather, is going to help the listeners that listen to it on that day.
Thank you for the tip. So can you tell us the second upcoming event?
Yes, the second upcoming event is the gathering of an interactive session taking place between the Gboko wives and daughters.
Otherwise known as Gwadi. Gboko Wives and Daughters International.
Yes.
Right, that's correct.
They are converging in Gboko here. They usually do it every year. So this year too, in August, this month of August, they'll be converging here to interact with His Lordship. And within this, I can't preempt what is going to take place, but I'm sure this event is a huge event. The Bishop looks up to it, and these Gboko sons and daughters too, they look up this event to come back home wherever they are, to interact with their father, His Excellency Most Reverend William Avenya, their Bishop, back at home. So we're hoping that we wouldn't be preempting anything here, but we're sure it's going to be a big bang. That occasion is going to come across as a big bang.
Thank you for the Steve. On this note, we also want to bring you, dear friends, to speed on the other aspects of developments in the Catholic Diocese of Gboko. I want to mention the mechanic site that the Bishop has acquired and has imported machinery for use at that site. We also want to mention to you that the Bishop is building a school named Bishop Usu Study Center that may have the capacity of a university and awarding institution, and that is located in Vandikia. Right now, as we are speaking, there is a camp going on for kids, and the children are taken to Obudu. The event started in St. John's, the Baptist Cathedral, Gboko, and Father Richard Mbango is handling that event. There are many other events, such as the stadium that is being built in around Mka. That is another event coming up very powerfully. And in a couple of days, the Bishop is going to commission a new clinic at Garagbo that has been donated to the Catholic Diocese of Gboko by Chris Dura. The Bishop is doing so very many things we cannot mention offhand and at this moment, but we hope to bring this up and many other happenings around the Diocese of Gboko, including what is happening in Katsina Allah Diocese. He has started a minor seminary it is called Our Lady, I think of Concept, no, in Gonduzwa. There is a minor seminary that he has started. Yes, for the Catholic Diocese of Katsina Allah. And he has also started off a retreat center by the riverside, the River Katsina Allah side, where he has bought a huge and massive piece of land for that purpose. It is ready, and 2 priests are already residing at the retreat center, Father Solomon Batimin and Father Moses Ashungu, who have just reported in the diocese for this purpose. There are many, many, many other projects that are going on that are basically building the human person, building, the capacity building for the human person. So, Father Steve, I allow you to also speak about the pastoral events that are happening, especially the area of the Patris Corde, the year of St. Joseph, as inaugurated by the Pope and then the Bishop of Katsina Allah and Gboko Diocese. What is happening with the year of St. Joseph?
Yeah, when this year was officially inaugurated by the Holy Father, Pope Francis, back at home here on the first day of May, the Catholic Diocese of Gboko gathered around their Bishop, His Excellency Most Reverend William Avenya, to officially launch and, of course, domesticate the content of that encyclical, that pastoral letter, Patris Corde, in the diocese. And at that occasion, I must tell you, there was this very huge turnout, both from the laity, the religious, and priests across the length and breadth of the diocese converged in the Cathedral Church of St. John to kickstart this event, or rather, Year of St. Joseph in the diocese. And the fallout of that event was the injunction from the bishop that all pastoral units and deaneries must go ahead, relaunch this, or rather domesticate this, take home this, cascade this in their deaneries, and then from the deaneries, the message of Patris Corde should be cascaded down to the parishes. And then from there, within the parish, the different zones and outstations as well, we take home this message. And it's been going on, because in July, I remember very well, in our deanery of Atikpo, we converged in the rectory of Iyon to do what the Holy Father through requested, and of course our bishop to keyed into. So we launched, we cascaded that message in our deanery. And I know that a beautiful program was organized for all the deaneries in the diocese. In fact, a beautiful program printed out that on this day, this deanery should converge here, this deanery should converge here, and all of this, with particular themes and points for reflections given to such deaneries. And it's been going on smoothly. And I do know too that in my parish too, we are doing the same. We have launched the year. We have gone ahead to see what we can do at the zonal levels, and then see how our stations as well can key into this program. And I'm hoping that based on what I heard, I think the diocese will reconvene again to officially round up this year before even the official decision, so that there will be a part of the grand celebration organized by the Holy Father to mark the close of the year of St. Joseph.
Thank you, Steve, for that update from Gboko Diocese. The same program is running in Katsina Allah Diocese.
Beautiful.
It was launched in St. Gerard Major Cathedral in Katsina Allah by His Excellency Most Reverend William Avenya. But then this has been cascaded at the deanery and parishes and at the outstation levels. There is one thing that is very remarkable and unique about this program running in Katsina Allah Diocese. What the bishop has asked is the actual reading, of Patris Corde. So the priests were able to meet at the deanery levels and do the actual reading, where the text was actually read. And this has been done also at the deanery levels. Now it is being done at the outstations level,
Really?
Where after the service of the word, the voluntary catechist of a particular church allows a member of the congregation or himself, but people have been identified for this purpose anyway, they are able to read a chapter of the Patris Corde every Sunday, so that people are able to be at home and conversant with the text and the meaning of this text. It is hoped that they reconvene at the parish level, the deanery level, and the parish level for a final conclusion of this.
Let me interject. I hope that when you talk about actual reading, especially as it concerns the outstations, I just hope that when it is read, it is reinterpreted in TIV, so that
the document has been translated into TIV language.
Beautiful.
Yes, sure. We have the English version, and then we have the TIV version. That is what Katsina Allah is doing over and above Gboko Diocese. You want to learn the page from there?
We need to have several copies here, not just a page of a page. We need to have some copies so that it will be, because it's easier for us to use it as
you are a member of the Theological Commission of Gboko Diocese.
Yes,
I am a member of the Theological Commission for Katsina Allah Diocese.
Yes.
And what the two dioceses are doing as twins, remember that?
Yes.
They are twins.
Yes,
They were birthed on the same day, on the 29th of December 2012.
Yes.
And you remember the inauguration was on the 23rd for Katsina Ala. That was my birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you also, it took place the following day in Gboko diocese.
Yes.
So as twins, there is that interchange or exchange of ideas. So we are ready to lend you a copy as our sister.
Not just a copy, several
so that
copies.
you can
so
also do the actual reading. At this point, we want to thank Father Celestine Ayungu and the translation committee of Katsina Ala Diocese. They actually did a brilliant job on this matter.
It's good. I'm surprised to hear that.
They did.
I'm surprised to hear that.
We'll use a line here to thank Father Emmanuel Agbase, who is the Director of Social Communications for Gboko Diocese. He is actually our boss. He is rightly behind us. He has always supported us. Being an expert in communication, at intervals, he's able to review what we do and call our attention on areas that we need to improve on. Father Emmanuel Agbase, this is Father Fele and Father Stephen saying we truly, truly appreciate you and we thank you for all you do. Our dear boss.
Our dear director.
Our dear director. Thank you so very much.
Very much indeed.
We want to thank you, our listeners. Let me thank Father Stephen Awua, your radio padre, who is here at the station and who has been quite useful. Let me also thank Enoch Jabi. He's been here, our technical advisor. He's a professional. He brings others to help us. He develops all of this for us, and he assists us every minute. Enoch Tefa Jabi, we are very, very grateful. I am Reverend Father Akumbo Fodalis, the team leader of Luminous Radio Gboko. We want to say thank you for being with us, and at this time we wish to park, we wish to sign off, and the studio time is 18 minutes after 1 p.m. This is Luminous Radio Gboko, transmitting from the heart of the universe.